In this sketch, we would like to emphasize the different steps in the realization of qualitative research, and essentially those steps. First thing, we have to know exactly what is the number of people we want to interview or we want to access, and there are three main profiles. The first profile is the experts. Sometimes, for instance, I want to analyze any agro-food reality, but it's important for me to know exactly how it works. Probably an academic or a professional of the public administration can help me to understand. This is the profiling of expert that are very often interviewed. The second one, it would be representative for an external organization linked to the sector, public authority, NGOs. It's very similar to the expert in the sense that they have sometimes a broad perspective of the working of some realities. But what we are very important for us is to analyze specific agents, stakeholders from the sector, and also in this sense, there could be different profiles that can be analyzed. For instance, when I made research about agri-food realities, for instance, they have different kind of farmers. They have farmers with big farms. There are farmers with smaller farms. There are farmers that has other occupation. They are farmers, but they're working as in another sector. So there are different kinds. So it's important also to identify the different profiles inside the stakeholders that we want to interview. As a general rule, we have to include all the profiles that are relevant for our study. So this changes in the different cases, but there are in any case different profiles. Once we have made this first selection, we have to discuss what are the topics we want exactly to include and what are the topics we want to ask to the different stakeholders. Probably in this sense, experts could help us very much. Once these two phases have been done, we enter on the first stage, that is the development of scripts of the semi-structured interviews. This is a particularly interesting and important step, and that's why we are going to speak about in the just now. In this sense, we have to emphasize one element. So the script is an essential stage in an investigation based on interview, because it serves to know what are the exact topics we are going to analyze, and how are the more important questions we have to do. So it's important to have some idea about we want to ask to different agents before making the interview. So, but anyway, a script is not a detailed list of questions to ask. So not all the questions that could be made in an interview has to be included in a script. For us, the script is mostly a guide. It means that we have to include the main question we have to consider, but as the interview is essentially a dialogue, new question may be added during the conversation if we consider that is important. And at the same time, in some cases, the conversation the conversation give you new information, in the sense that this information could induce to know that some questions are not relevant. So the script is only a guide, and in this sense, it must include the main topic we have to analyze. It means that we have to develop those topics, and at the same time to develop, but also to summarize what are the main elements of this topic for don't be too long. And it helps, one of the main function of the script is that it helps to ensure that topics are not overlooked during the interview. So this is essentially the script. And when the script is down, we have to pass to the next step, to the next stage, that is contacting the interviewers. This is very difficult in practical terms, and very often is used with the help of intermediary institution. For instance, could be labor unions, business organization, personal connection, because sometimes it's not easy to always do access to the main agent, particularly in some topics. In some topics it's more difficult, in other it's easier, but in any case, the contacting of the interviewers is a difficult task. And after, once interviewers have been contacted, we have to make the interviews. So the next step is the conduction of the interviews. And the conduction of the interviews, we have to know something, we have to say something, some elements we have to talk about, some elements about how to conduct an interview. Well, what is important, first we have to focus on some preparatory steps before conducting the interviews. Once the interview is started, just we have to do is to explain your credentials. Let's say exactly where you come from. But I am John Smith, and I come from the University of I don't know, Chicago, of Sevilla, no, I a researcher that is analyzing our food system, and we have a project that is, so you have to explain your credential. It's important also to ensure the confidentiality of the information, because it's important that anything that an interview said in a qualitative interview is confidential and it's not going to be published. If it's going to be published, in any case, it will be without the name of only some sentences, but without saying exactly what is the interview that has said you that. So it's, information is confidential. You have to ask the permission for record the interview, because it's very important to record the interview, because if not, you are going to lose the majority of the information you're going to that is in the interview. So it's very important to record the interview. And sometimes, particularly for some agents, particularly if they have a higher level of educational background, but you can provide access to the final report if it is possible, as a way to make a little bit contribution for the collaboration. And it's also important, a preparatory step, to ensure the access in case of the interviews need to be repeated or additional questions need to be asked. Once the interview has started, just to remember what is the main objective that we have spoke before in previous sketches, that is to let the interviewer's narrative to emerge, so that they could be analyzed later. So there are two different phases in the analysis. One is the emergence of the discourse, and other is the analysis of the discourse. It must be clear that there are two different phases, very, very different phases. Those narrative, I say, can only emerge in the context of a conversation, and that's why this is essential to not disrupt the communicative fluency. In this sense, we have to say some elements that are important. First, this is a conversation between two, in the case of interview, two agents, the interviewer and the interviewee. But in this case, the person that has to talk is the interviewee. So we have as interviewer, we have to maintain a dialogue, but an asymmetric dialogue, in the sense that it's very important that the person that speak the most is the interviewer. But because what we want is to extract, to let the interviewer's narrative emerge. So it's important that the person who talk more is the interviewer. And also in this sense, is that could create communicative fluency, and only after this course is going to be analyzed by interviewer. Only after it's going to be. This is one rationality of the people that is speaking, and this is another rationality of the people that is listening. But it's going to be applied essentially after. This is what is important to realize. In this sense, we want that the narrative emerge, the narrative of the interview's narrative emerge, but we have to be conscient that there are some limits, in the sense that this course is always situational and strategic, so they could change considering the environment, and they are also always subject to situation of structural censorship. That is mean that not depending what you are speaking, you are not going to say exactly all you think, or you are going to emphasize one element or another element. In this sense, the position of the interviewer must be as neutral as possible to try to minimize the influence, and this means not explicitly reveal a position in favor or opposed to the phenomenon being analyzed. This is sense say that an analysis on the taking of position is a process that is after the processes of interviewing. Well, sometimes the maintenance of communicative fluency could be difficult, because some things can happen during the conversation that are not very good for the communicative fluencies. Sometimes, for instance, it could be that for maintaining communicative fluency, some topics not included in the script corner. In this sense, it's a new topic not included in the script come up. In the first we have to leave. We have to leave, and we have to leave a little bit to you have to leave, and to continue talking to the interview, the person interviewee. We have to continue with them without problems, because probably there's an information that we don't know, and probably could be a topic that is not included because we didn't know, but it's important. But if we realize that this is a topic that is very far, we are the thing we are researching, we have to stop, in some sense that could be diplomatically, we have to stop this element, and we have to make another question most related with the topics we want to analyze. Also, some topics could be very contentious and could disrupt the flow of the conversation. In this case, it's sometimes advisable to move on to another topic, and to return it later in the gentlest way possible. Well, this is the main elements of the implementation of qualitative semi-structured interviews, and in this sense, I think the most important elements are included in this presentation. Thank you very much.